Welcome to day 26 of the 30-day holiday video challenge. Today, we're making easy Christmas cinnamon rolls. Hi there, foodie friends. My name is Carly and welcome to my channel, Adventures in Yum. Before we get into today's video, I have a passion for learning about creating and trying new foods, drinks, and especially desserts. If you want to join me on my yummy adventures, and especially during this challenge, then please make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so that you'll know when I upload new videos every week. Now, let's dive into today's video. We're starting with 6 cups or 840 grams of all-purpose flour in a large mixing bowl. To the flour, we're adding 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Give that a quick whisk and then add 2 cups or about 490 grams of somewhat recently fed sourdough starter and 1.5 cups or about 354 milliliters of whole milk. This is actually the same exact dough recipe as the one I made in yesterday's pull-apart garlic bread video, but this time we're doubling it. We then use a rubber spatula to mix this together until it mostly comes together, and then we use our clean hands to bring the rest of the dough together in one cohesive ball of dough. We stop mixing at this point and then divide the dough into 3 large pieces. We then keep one of the dough balls plain, color one of the pieces green using green food gel, and the last piece red using red food gel. Be careful not to overwork your dough too much because it may result in the cinnamon rolls having more of a bread-like texture. Next, we flour our work surface. I personally like to use the parchment paper to line my work surface when rolling out dough, but that's totally up to your personal preference. We put the 3 colors together and twist and fold it to make a marble effect, and then we roll the dough into a large flat rectangle. It's okay if it's not a perfect rectangle. I rolled it out to probably between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. If it feels like the dough is starting to get a little harder to roll out and even looks like it might be kind of shrinking back a little bit, let it just rest on your work surface for a few minutes while making the filling. To a bowl, we add 1 stick or 1/2 cup or 110 grams of softened room temperature butter, 3/4 cup or 150 grams of brown sugar, 1/4 cup or 50 grams of granulated sugar, and 2.5 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Once we thoroughly mix that together, we add it on top of our dough and then spread it into a thin layer across the whole surface of the dough. Once that's done, we roll the dough into a long log. I like to use a pastry or even silicone brush to brush off the excess flour as I roll the dough. We're going to cut these into about 8 to 12 pieces depending on how big we want them. I decided to cut this one into 8 pieces. Using a chef's knife, we make little marks on top of the dough to show where to cut the pieces, but we're not using the chef's knife to cut them. We're actually using original or unflavored floss to wrap around the dough at each marked section and pull the floss so that it cuts through the dough. The reason we do this is because it helps preserve that gorgeous spiral look rather than squishing the dough. If we use a knife, it squishes the dough at each and every cut, and it just doesn't make it look as pretty. We spray a 9x13 glass pan with non-stick cooking spray and then add our cinnamon rolls. Once we arrange them how we want, we're covering the pan with aluminum foil and baking it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 204 degrees Celsius for about 40 to 45 minutes. Before we finish these cinnamon rolls, if you are getting value out of this video, then please make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified about my latest video. While the cinnamon rolls bake, we're preparing the delicious cream cheese frosting. We start with 4 ounces or 112 grams of room temperature cream cheese, and then add a 1/2 stick or 1/4 cup or 55 grams of unsalted butter. We use a fork to mash the two together until well combined, and then we add 1 cup or about 130 grams of powdered sugar, a pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We mix that until it starts to have a thinner consistency, swap to a whisk, and mix until completely smooth. When the cinnamon rolls are ready, we're going to let them cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before adding our cream cheese frosting. And there we have our gorgeous Christmas cinnamon rolls. Aren't the colors so cool? You can also find these Christmas cinnamon rolls on my website, adventuresinyum.net. The link is in the description below. Make sure to come back tomorrow for day 27 because we're making a cake for Christmas. If you are interested in checking out some of the products I used in this video, then please make sure to check out the video description below for some other Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today, foodie friends. I'll see you next time for another festively fun, yummy adventure.